Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Are you seeking a powerful way to unlock the doors of Rizq and bring barakah into your life? Then stay with me, because today we're uncovering a beautiful secret from the Quran, Surah Al-Waqiah. Known by many as the Surah of Wealth, it carries timeless wisdom and a special promise. But there's a deeper way to recite it, one that connects the heart and soul to divine provision. In this video, I'll share how to recite it correctly, with intention, and the spiritual keys that bring Rizq flowing your way. 1. Surah Waqiah is known as the Surah of Wealth. Surah Al-Waqiah, the 56th chapter of the Quran, holds a unique position among the surahs for its powerful message about sustenance, provision, and the ultimate reality of life after death. Over time, it has become known affectionately by many scholars and believers as the Surah of Wealth. This title isn't just a cultural attribution, it stems from the deep connection between its themes and the concept of rizq, sustenance granted by Allah. The surah emphasizes the absolute authority of Allah over all matters of provision. It draws a vivid picture of how He alone distributes wealth, status, and sustenance among His creation. Unlike worldly systems that often rely on effort alone, Surah Waqiah teaches that true rizq comes by the will and mercy of Allah. The imagery and verses remind the heart that everything we earn is not purely by our hands, but by divine permission and wisdom. What makes this surah particularly beloved is its ability to bring comfort to those struggling with financial worries. Its verses cultivate a mindset of tawakkul, trust in Allah, assuring believers that poverty and hardship are not permanent when one remains spiritually connected. Reciting Surah Waqiah regularly reinforces the belief that wealth is not merely a material issue but a spiritual trust. Moreover, the surah shifts our attention from fearing loss to appreciating divine control. When we internalize its message, we begin to act with more gratitude, generosity, and ethical responsibility, traits that naturally invite barakah into our wealth. This deeper relationship with wealth, built through Surah Waqiah, is what truly transforms it into the Surah of Wealth, not just in terms of money, but in the richness of heart, mindset, and blessings that follow. 2. Prophetic hadith on its benefits. One of the most compelling reasons for the popularity of Surah Al-Waqiah among Muslims is the hadith attributed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam regarding its benefits. In a narration found in various collections, it is reported that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Whoever recites Surah Al-Waqiah every night will never suffer from poverty." This statement is simple, yet deeply profound, as it connects a consistent spiritual habit with worldly stability. The beauty of this hadith lies in its promise, freedom from poverty. Poverty, for many, is not only a financial struggle but an emotional and mental burden. Through this hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam offers believers a practical and spiritual means of protection from such hardship. By turning to the Quran, specifically Surah Al-Waqiah, a Muslim is guided to seek divine solutions rather than relying solely on material efforts. It is important to note that the hadith encourages daily recitation, emphasizing consistency over occasional effort. Just as wealth grows over time through investment and discipline, spiritual wealth grows through daily connection with the words of Allah. The regular recitation acts as a form of worship, a reminder of Allah's control over rizq, and a personal dua for sustenance wrapped in devotion. Furthermore, this hadith underlines a principle of Islam: the interconnection between spiritual action and material outcome. Islam never separates the soul from worldly affairs, rather, it teaches that inner purity and remembrance of Allah can directly affect one's outer conditions. The promise of freedom from poverty isn't just financial, it includes relief from anxiety, fear, and dependence on others. In this way, the hadith elevates Surah Al-Waqiah from being a chapter of the Quran to a daily lifeline for those seeking stability, contentment, and barakah in their lives. 3. Best time to recite. The timing of recitation in Islam plays a significant role in enhancing spiritual connection and maximizing the benefits of certain acts of worship. When it comes to Surah Al-Waqiah, many scholars and pious individuals have recommended reciting it specifically after Isha prayer, the final obligatory prayer of the day. This period holds a special status in the Islamic tradition as it marks the end of daily responsibilities and the beginning of spiritual reflection. Reciting Surah Waqiah at night, particularly after Isha, allows the heart and mind to fully concentrate without the usual distractions of the day. The stillness of the night offers a serene environment that naturally encourages focus, sincerity, and mindfulness, key elements when connecting with the Quran. This time is also spiritually rich, as Allah's mercy descends during the night, especially in its last third, making it an ideal moment to engage with His words. In addition, nighttime is often when people reflect on their lives, their worries, and their goals. For someone struggling with financial uncertainty or seeking Allah's favor in their provision, reciting Surah Al-Waqiah during this calm period transforms the experience into both an act of worship and a personal appeal for divine assistance. Another subtle benefit of this timing is that it becomes a source of comfort before sleep. Ending the day with a reminder of Allah's power over wealth, life, and death helps shift the believer's mindset from anxiety to reliance. It plants the seed of hope and trust, which can positively influence one's thoughts, dreams, and even intentions for the next day. By incorporating Surah Al-Waqiah into the nightly routine, the believer gradually develops a habit that strengthens both their spiritual connection and their trust in Allah's plan for their sustenance. 4. The secret method of recitation. While many people recite Surah Al-Waqiah for its well-known benefits, few truly unlock its deeper spiritual power due to overlooking how it should be recited. The method of recitation plays a vital role in transforming a routine reading into a powerful act of devotion that invites the mercy and rizq of Allah. The secret lies in intentionality and presence. Before reciting, one should begin by clearing the mind of distractions and renewing the intention, not just to gain wealth, but to seek closeness to Allah and His blessings through His words. This aligns the heart with sincerity, which is a key condition for any act of worship to be accepted and spiritually fruitful. Next, it's important to recite slowly, with reflection, rather than rushing through the verses. The Quran was revealed to transform hearts, not just to be read mechanically. When one contemplates the verses about creation, sustenance, and the realities of the hereafter found in Surah Waqiah, they begin to feel the weight of Allah's power and generosity, which inspires greater humility and hope. Another powerful part of this method is to pause at key verses, letting their meaning sink in. Some scholars recommend even silently making dua when a verse deeply resonates, especially those that mention Allah's provisions and the contrast between those who receive His mercy and those who turn away. Finally, consistency is part of the secret. Like planting a seed and watering it daily, regular recitation with mindfulness gradually brings results, often in ways that are subtle yet transformative. Rizq may appear not only in material form, but through ease in life, unexpected opportunities, and peace of heart. This level of benefit is reserved for those who recite not just with the tongue, but with their soul engaged. 5. Dhikr before and after. In addition to reciting Surah Al-Waqiah with sincerity and focus, incorporating specific dhikr, remembrance of Allah, before and after the recitation can greatly enhance its spiritual impact. Dhikr acts as a way to prepare the heart, open spiritual channels, and reinforce the intention behind the act of worship. A highly recommended dhikr in this context is repeating, Ya Razzaq, Ya Mughni, two of Allah's beautiful names. Ya Razzaq means, the provider, and Ya Mughni means, the enricher. These names directly relate to sustenance and abundance, making them particularly relevant for anyone seeking halal rizq from Allah. When these names are repeated with humility and yearning, they act as a heartfelt supplication, acknowledging that all provision comes solely from the divine. Saying these names before the recitation spiritually prepares the heart. It creates a state of dependence on Allah, shifting one's mindset from self-reliance to divine reliance. This short dhikr helps purify the intention and invites barakah into the recitation that follows. Reciting, Ya Razzaq, Ya Mughni, after completing the surah reinforces the message of gratitude and trust. It becomes a moment of silent awe, where the believer internalizes what they have recited and expresses their faith in Allah's ability to provide beyond human limits. This combination of Quranic recitation and the names of Allah forms a powerful spiritual formula. It's not about mere repetition of words, but about building a deeper relationship with the provider. Over time, this practice increases one's tawakkul, trust in Allah, removes anxiety about worldly matters, and opens unseen doors of rizq. When done with sincerity, this small yet consistent act can shift the trajectory of a believer's life, not just financially, but spiritually and emotionally as well. 6. Spiritual reflection. Spiritual reflection, or tadabbur, is one of the most powerful elements of Quranic recitation. When reading Surah Al-Waqiah, taking time to reflect deeply on its verses transforms the experience from a ritual act into a journey of the soul. It allows the heart to absorb the meanings and apply them to real life, which leads to both spiritual elevation and inner peace. Surah Al-Waqiah presents vivid scenes of the Day of Judgment, the division of people into groups based on their deeds, and the majesty of Allah's creative power. When reciting with reflection, a believer begins to see themselves in the narrative, not just as a reader, but as someone whose life and choices are part of that eternal reality. This connection nurtures humility, accountability, and a desire for self-improvement. A particularly powerful aspect of reflection is to ponder how Allah manages the affairs of creation with such precision and generosity. From the crops that grow to the water that flows, the surah reminds us that nothing is random, every provision is carefully measured and distributed by His will. This awakens gratitude, which itself is a key to attracting more blessings. Furthermore, spiritual reflection creates emotional depth. Verses that describe the reward of the righteous inspire hope, while those describing the fate of the heedless awaken a healthy fear. Both are necessary to soften the heart and align it with Allah's guidance. Incorporating reflection into your recitation of Surah Waqiah doesn't require scholarly knowledge. Simply pausing after a verse, thinking about its meaning, and considering how it applies to your life is enough to begin. This habit not only strengthens your connection to the Quran but also refines your character and increases your awareness of Allah's mercy in every area of your life. May Allah fill your life with endless barakah, ease your struggles, and open the doors of halal rizq for you. If you found this reminder valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Profound Deen for more spiritual insights. Comment below with this beautiful dua: Ya Allah, grant me rizq that brings me closer to you. Your engagement helps spread this message to others in need. Jazakum Allahu khairan for watching.